welcome to another edition of the award-winning Heartbeat of Holliston. I'm Chris O'Lawless.
And I'm Paul Saulnier. So, here we are for another show.
Yep.
End of the monsoon season.
I hope so.
Yeah, we had a great day today. Even yesterday was good.
I know.
And we've got a great show tonight.
Yes, we do. So let's hear it.
Okay. We have a fantastic lineup, actually, of people and events to tell you about. We will return to the Kick to Kenya soccer experience and get the latest updates on the Senior Center and the Pinecrest Golf Course. Outpost Farm features a new barbecue menu, and Holliston starts another Habitat for Humanity house. So let's get started with our first guest. Linda Marshall, Director of the Senior Center, is here to tell us updates and activities at the center. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So, what's going on?
Well, as always, we're a pretty busy place.
Yeah.
So this spring we've been undergoing some construction, some renovations.
Oh.
We've had some new carpeting put in. We're getting a new stove for our kitchen, a new staircase on the Goulding Street entrance that has really been in disrepair for some time.
Oh, yeah.
And then we're getting all doors and windows replaced.
Wow.
Really?
So we're very excited.
You're going to be more energy efficient then.
We certainly hope so.
Yeah.
And this just further adds to the many changes we've seen. And
It's always handicap accessible?
Yes, the handicap accessible entrance isn't changing.
Oh, yeah?
And
do you have like buttons people can press
On the
and open the
handicap
doors?
entrance, we do,
Okay.
yes.
And what about the gardens? I know the Aronian Landscaping did a lot of work. Mark did, Selectman, he was
Yes.
interested in the Senior Center, and you've had a lot of reorientation of the parking lot, but I understand the Eagle Scouts have been working as well?
Well, an Eagle Scout built us 3 raised garden beds, actually 2 years ago. So last summer was the first time we got to start using them. We had a small committee and did a decent job with produce. This year our committee has expanded even more. So we have the 3 raised garden beds. We have 2 in-ground beds as well.
So what are you growing in those?
Oh my goodness, almost what aren't we growing?
Oh, really?
Tomatoes, cucumbers, radishes, peppers, carrots, an assortment of herbs, something called cucamelon that I have never heard before, but they were very excited about trying that.
Flowers at all?
Some flowers.
Yeah, for cutting and bringing indoors kind of thing?
For cutting and bringing indoors, and some that are known to maybe repel pests.
Good. Yeah. But that's great because if you don't have a garden at home, you can go to the Senior Center and do gardening there.
Yes, those. So we use some of those produce for our meals, our in-house meal program, and then if we have excess, it is given out to seniors
Nice.
to take. So
Really
yes.
nice.
Any clue as to what % of seniors that live in town actually are members or come to the Senior Center?
Well, currently there's about 4,900 seniors by our standards in Holliston, which is ages 55 and older.
Oh.
About 1,000 of them are active members, so those are people
Wow.
that participate on a regular basis in some
Really?
program. And I would venture to guess there's probably another 200 to 300 that may drop in at some point just for like a one-on. Maybe they're looking
Right.
to borrow some medical equipment or to browse the bookstore.
And everybody
like
gets
that.
a little cue card or something?
We like them to, because that's
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
just like you
I have one, but you're not old enough.
just like your grocery store or the cards. We have to report numbers to the state as well as if I'm looking for grants. They want to know how many people are coming to your center, how many are participating in a certain type of activity. So that allows us to record it much better than when I started and it was all handwritten list.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
And then had to be transposed into a computer or database.
And then going forward, all our support for the numbers helps you with more funding, perhaps?
It does.
Yeah.
Funding, especially if we're writing grants. We get certain monies from the state every year, but part of that is that we have to provide them a record of the use of the center.
And are you still active in the summer?
We are not as much as the rest of the year.
Okay.
We have some seniors that go away, just like as younger people do. Others, however, that become the child care providers for grandchildren.
Oh.
Oh, I see.
So we do lose a number.
What is the most popular program or programs?
There's several, so it depends on the interest. We have the unique program around here of having our own band, the Tune Timers, who play every Friday afternoon. We can count on them to always bring in a good number, lots of dancing, singing, really good time by everyone. Of our fitness programs, Zumba is probably our most popular. The room is always filled, very
What is
lively,
that?
energetic. It's a Latin dance exercise.
Oh.
So, but very popular, and the instructor always keeps things fresh. New songs. During the
Okay.
holidays, you might hear Christmas music playing to the dance.
Anything special coming up? Any events that you'd like viewers to know about?
We have several. Matter of fact, this Thursday we're having a cookout.
Oh, cool.
Good time.
In June, the Lions Club are doing another cookout on a Sunday for us.
The Lions Club
The Lions
do that
Club,
for you?
they do that every year. They
Right.
have a cookout for the seniors,
Okay.
usually the second Sunday in June. So
Okay.
looking forward
What
to
is
that.
your wish list? You've been at the senior center for over 10 years. Linda, what's your future thoughts?
Well, one, because the number of seniors are increasingly growing, and that's not going to change in the near future, staffing is one issue to meet the needs as people are getting older, wanting to stay in their own homes, maybe don't have family around or family they're able to meet all their needs, and they really turn to us more and more. There's some more physical things we'd like to have done. There's been great progress in recent years, but there's still a few more things we
good.
would like to go there.
All right.
At some point, they may have to look at more space, so whether that's a new building,
Okay.
but not in the short term.
There's been some talk about maybe moving you into the library if we can get a bigger space for the library. But, well, thanks
Well,
very much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll hope to have you back with updates.
Excellent.
All right,
Great.
great.
Thanks.
Thank you.
A few months ago, we introduced you to the Kick It to Kenya 7202 project. Using soccer as a common ground, 8 Holliston families accomplished a cultural and service mission. During February vacation, the group of 26 traveled to Kenya to build a soccer field for a primary school. Here's the story of their journey. Liam and Nathan, you've had a lot of experiences. So let's start with the soccer experience. What exactly did you accomplish?
Well, we put lines on their fields for the first time. They have never had real lines on their field. And we also accomplished, because they don't really have trees there, we built a place where they can sit under so they stay cooler.
We painted their goalpost all white, a little more clear. We tore up all the weeds on the field so it may be a little better to play because those were all thorns. So if you fell, it would really hurt.
That was a lot of work. Was it hot?
Very hot.
And then when you were all done with the work, did you have a game?
Yes, after we were done with the field, we brought out a bunch of pairs of cleats and soccer balls for the kids to have. And so we played a bunch of pickup games, and then with the older kids at the end, whoever won got a trophy that said 72 on
And
02 on it.
Who won?
My brother's team,
Oh,
the older kids.
yeah. Okay. So after you did the soccer, I know that you also visited a primary school. What was that like? How was that different from the schools here?
Their desks, well, first of all, they were wicked different. They, like, you would have the table in front of you, and then you'd have the seat. Yeah, that was all made of wood.
So also, there is like 6 houses, right? 6 of them for school. 1 of them is for cafeteria, and then there's a couple others for dorms. If you live really far away, your parents can send you here so you can board here.
What subjects did they teach? Do you know?
I think they did, they definitely did spelling in English, because they actually studied English. Like, when we got there, we were like, wow, that's a lot of English.
Did you communicate with them in English?
Yes, we did communicate with them in English, but we know some words in Swahili that we were able to communicate with them a little bit, but not too much.
What's your favorite Swahili word?
We only know a couple.
What is it?
Asante sana. Thank you very much.
Good. You also had a lot of wildlife experiences. Tell me about those.
Well, I think one of the coolest things that happened was when we saw a lion attack a zebra, and it was really cool how it like waits for it to come up, and it was, I mean, I felt bad when it happened, but you know, that's like how they do it.
It was a mama lion, and so she had about 3 kids, I think, and it's kind of like the cycle. You have to kill to eat. I mean, it may be very sad, but that's how it works. If one animal doesn't kill another animal to eat, that animal won't survive.
What is your favorite wildlife memory? other than the lion?
There was an elephant stampede of like 500 elephants walking at 20 feet in front of us. Wow. And there was this big, the only boy, I think, the only male, he was very old, I think, came up right to the car and stomped and shagged his head. And it was very nerve-wracking.
Crazy.
We actually got to touch in elephants at the elephant orphanage. And also, I really liked when we drove past, you could see, we actually saw a hyena.
Wow. You also went on some hikes with some Maasai warriors. Tell me about those guys.
You have to be a certain age to become a Maasai warrior. And so once you do, you go through a while's worth of training. And once you're done with your training, you get placed in a certain category. Like most of them were warriors in our village, but some of them were chefs and some of them were doctors.
Where did you stay?
We actually stayed, some people got to pick a tent or a hut. And I actually stayed in the hut, which I kind of regret because it's open roofed, sort of. So anything can come in. So we had 2 mice and a gecko or
Cockroach.
Cockroach.
Oh, that's not so bad.
It was kind of cool, but like when you went to sleep, you're like, please nothing come in.
When we would wake up in the morning and we'd eat breakfast and then we'd go to the school, we saw the dorms that the kids stay in there, and it's really incredible to see what they sleep on. It's a mattress, then if you could literally pick it apart. It's just like sandpaper. And we may donate mattresses to the school because of that reason.
Well, that's a good idea. So how has the trip changed the way you are today? Can you tell me how that's changed?
Well, first of all, whenever I'm in a house and I see a bug, I don't really think too much about it because I went through an experience that was more than a little tiny ant. Also, when I want something, I always think of like what they have. Like, they don't have as much as me, but that's what they want, and so I usually think about that, like, you don't need more than you have because that's all you need, really.
Yeah, every time I'm like, oh, that looks pretty cool, I think twice, do I really need this? And then I think to the kids in Kenya, they really have nothing. Some kids only have like 1 shoe. It's really crazy.
Do you think that the trip changed your Kenyan friends? What do you think you contributed to them?
I gave away a pair of cleats to my brother's friend Bryson, and I'm just thinking back to now, like, those cleats are probably gonna go on forever. Like, he's probably gonna keep passing them down, and that's really cool, like, to think about. That you started something and it's just gonna keep going for years until they literally break open.
I think that's a very cool thing. Would you do this again?
100%.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a country that needs it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. I'm so glad you got that opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's not over for 7202. They want to continue using sports and education as cultural bridges. They thank the entire Holliston community for their tremendous support. We look forward to hearing more from these remarkable kids and their families.
Texas-style barbecue comes to Holliston. Have you seen the giant metal smoker parked at Outpost Farm? Heartbeat was on scene to report and sample the delicious menu.
This is Deborah Moore at Outpost Farm for the Heartbeat of Holliston, and we're having a smoking good time. AJ, would you like to tell us what's behind you?
Sure. It's a smoker that we're going to be using for smoking beef brisket, turkey, pork, and ribs.
Can you tell us how this is working?
I sure can. Bob from B Welding in Holliston built it for us. And we got a blueprints from Texas, and we purchased the 2 tanks. And Bob, who's a very creative welder, welded the 2 tanks, cut the doors in it for us, and put on the chimney. We have here the firebox. The fire generates the smoke, goes across the tube and out the chimney. and gives it that nice smoke flavor. We put it on a trailer so we can move it around. Even down to details of adding little drumsticks for the handles and on the door. And it has 4 bays, and we like to maintain a temperature of 250 degrees at all times, but you can put different types of meats in each bay.
And what role do you play in this, Ashley?
I have worked to help develop the recipes for the meat, including the rubs and the side dishes. And then I also work on the smoker, getting the fire started early in the morning and feeding the fire throughout the day because it has to be fed every 20 minutes to maintain a smoking temperature. And so I work on both of those things.
Now, how did you come about deciding what meats you were going to use?
We did a lot of research, and the beef and the pork seem very popular, along we do the turkey, so we just did a combination of the things that we already do.
And how many months out of the year will this be smoking?
We plan on running it all year long.
Oh, wow, that's great.
Yes, once people really are into it, we didn't want to have to shut it down at all.
And we thought it might be nice in the winter when there's snow on the ground and people might want some real barbecue and come up to the farm and get some during the winter.
That sounds great. I can't wait to get inside and have a taste of this. It smells irresistible.
Well, thank you. Come on inside. Let's go try some.
So these are the briskets that have been smoking for 18 hours that it takes to get them to where we want them to be. And then we have to let them sit for roughly an hour to 2 hours to let the juices settle back into the meat. And then once we do that, he's able to take it off and slice it in nice 1/4 to 1/2 inch thick slices so that we can serve it in either our meals, or people are purchasing by the pound, or in a sandwich. And then it also comes with cornbread, sliced white onions, and pickles. And then the sides we're doing are cucumber salad, macaroni and cheese, coleslaw, baked beans, and our fried potato wedges.
Now, how did you come up with the pickles and onion combo?
That's actually a very Texas style way of presenting brisket and any of the smoked meats. How a meal normally comes in Texas is on a big sheet tray with a big piece of paper, and it's your meat in a pile, the sliced onions, a pickle, and then your sides in little canoes or boats. And normally that will come with slices of white bread so that people can also make sandwiches out of. People up in the Northeast don't do the white bread nearly as much, so that's kind of why we axed it and added in the cornbread, because that's far more popular up here. So the pickle and the onions are meant to essentially be eaten with the meat to kind of balance out the meat.
We're here today with a couple of customers dining at Outpost Farm. Can you tell us what you had?
I had roast brisket.
And how was it?
It was absolutely delicious.
And you had?
I had the pulled pork.
And how did you enjoy that?
I liked it. It was really good.
You coming back again?
Every Tuesday.
All right, we'll see you then. What did you get?
Turkey breast, baked beans, and fried potatoes. Wedges.
Looks great. This is Deborah Moore for the Heartbeat of Holliston at Outpost Farm. And we're not just talking turkey here. Delicious.
Barbecue is getting very popular, and Outpost Farm is set to make it a year-round attraction here in Holliston.
Deb, that looked like so much fun.
Oh gosh, it was. I was back again tonight for more.
Oh, you lucky person. Yeah. And AJ and Ashley, what a great team they make.
Yeah, they do. And Kevin's in behind the scenes as well. So they got a great group up there, and they're just loving the new smoker.
It's great for all of us, though.
Right.
I can't wait.
And they're still doing their barbecue on Thursday nights. So we have 2 special nights, Tuesdays and Thursdays.
So they're going to do it 2 nights a week all year long?
No, they're going to do the smoking
Oh, that's right.
on Tuesdays all year long, and then they do their summer chicken barbecue as usual.
Yeah.
And that's always a big hit. That's really grown in popularity as well.
It has.
Yeah.
But I think this might top that.
Yeah. Well, I can't believe how much work it is to keep that fire going.
Yeah.
Every 20 minutes, oh boy.
Yeah.
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 I have a question, though. Where do you get the ideas for all those nice chocolates that you make and that you sell at Outpost? They're always different every week, it seems.
Really?
Well, I try to keep up with the seasons or, the different holidays that are coming to change things around a little bit. And I don't know, I just see things and I go, oh, I can make something like that. So,
Well, they're great gifts. They're neat.
And I remember that night, they were out of the brisket early, as I recall. Or was
Right.
it the turkey they were out of?
yeah,
Because we went to buy some after the
Yeah.
show, and it was early in that night, and they were out of it.
yeah. So they're
Even
doing
the first night it's
the
popular.
first night, yep.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, let's talk a little bit about the golf course. Deb, you're the chairman of the Golf Course Advisory Committee, so what's happening there?
Well, this year, this past year, we went out for a new contract because the other contract was done, and New England Golf is back. They had been there about 25 years before. It went to Johnson Management for 5 years, and now New England Golf is back, and we've gotten the best contracts we ever had since the town owns the golf course. The first year, we're realizing $250,000. The second year, we're going to realize $265,000, and the third year, $280,000. So that's really good. So because we have some money to spend up there, it's time to do some upgrades on the building and on the course. And some of the things that we've been doing already, we've painted the clubhouse. We're looking to put new balusters up on the deck and on the stairway. And we have laser leveled and sodded some of the tees. There's 11
Amazing.
tees, right?
How many have you done?
11.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's going to make such a difference in
The
play.
tees have to be perfectly level?
Well, that's a good thing.
It should be.
Is it really?
Oh, yeah.
But they put it on a little stick and just whack it off of that. What do they care if it's level?
It's where you're standing, Paul. You need to be standing on
Oh,
You need to be level too.
Yeah, yeah. Obviously, you haven't played golf.
I know, I don't.
All right. What else?
We've done, last year we did some new cart paths that were great, and this year we've done a little bit more cart path work. So those are some of the big things on the course. And also, we just planted a new memorial tree because we have a tree planting program. So some of the people in town that are the golfers up there, especially Wally Thornton and his wife, he's on the committee with us. One of the golfers passed away, and his name's Ray Sanzone, and they wanted to do something to remember him. And so they planted a tree just as you enter, as you're going to the first tee, and it's called a Rising Sun Redbud. And it's supposed to flower in the spring, and the flowers are like a purplish, pinkish color, and then the leaves come out, and they're heart-shaped, and they go from a peachy to a yellow, and then to a lime green. Wow. So it sounds like it's going to be spectacular,
Yeah.
and I can't wait to see it go through all its different stages. So that was just planted, and we have a couple other memorial trees that are out there. There's a tree that was planted a number of years ago for Justin Mayer.
Sure.
Bill and Cindy planted it for their son. That's a Katsura, and that has heart-shaped leaves as well. And in the fall, it starts to smell like cotton candy or bubble gum. So that has gotten really big, and that's out near the rock pile. And then there's another memorial tree that's, as you enter the clubhouse, it's on your right, and that is to remember Kevin Muzzy, Donna Muzzy's son, that passed away. And so it's something that we like to do. A lot of the people have been golfers or just people that want something in a public place to remember their loved one. And if there's people out there that would like to plant a memorial tree, get in touch with us, and we'll be happy to accommodate that.
You being the Golf Course Advisory Committee through the Board of Selectmen or
Yeah. That's beautiful.
Hall.
That's a nice thing. That's great.
Yes.
Yeah. So, well, thanks so much, Deb. And now that spring is finally here, the golfers will get to really enjoy all these improvements with the new contract,
Right.
and also the beauty at Pinecrest, which you can see right behind us.
Well, we're just starting our planting, so stay tuned.
Yeah.
And we
It'll
should
look great
have a
as
lot
ever.
more planting out there.
Great. Thanks.
Thank you.
Mayor Bobby Blair has dedicated himself to two highly visible projects that make Holliston a better place to live. Those projects are the Memorial Day Veterans posters and the downtown marigolds. This year will mark the 17th year that the Charles F. Duford Post number 47 will hang posters and flags honoring those who've died in Iraq and Afghanistan. The project began in 2003 as an outgrowth of a 2002 flag tribute on the Congregational Church lawn that honored those who died on 9/11. In 2005, the tribute included all the deaths to that date, and it covered 34.5 miles and went into the neighboring towns of Medway, Ashland, Milford, Sherburne, Millis, and Hopkinton. But then, to keep the project manageable, the organizers decided to post only those killed in the previous 6 months. To date, 8,436 double-sided posters have been written. All of the poster board was donated by Label Identification of Hopedale. This year, you will see 34 posters with flags. The Downtown Marigold Project is in its 13th year and is praying for some warm weather. They're waiting the arrival of 26 new hanging baskets for the downtown area just alone. And the planting of annuals at Blair Square, Gooch's Corner, Central Burying Ground, Hollis Street, and the Historical Society will begin the first week in June. As always, Downtown Marigold partners with Holliston and Bloom, the Community Farm, the Garden Club, and our business owners. Final news, the Friends of the Holliston Library held a clothing drive the weekend of May 4th. As you can see from these pictures, it received tremendous support. They collected 3,415 pounds of clothing, which was donated to the Savers Thrift Store in Framingham. And this fundraiser netted the Friends $928. The Friends especially thank the generosity of our local company, New England Pack and Ship, which donated the truck and helped unload all of those bags. And finally, I want to tell you that the repairs on the library are anticipated to be completed by the end of June. Watch for a grand reopening celebration.
History and Holliston are totally connected, which makes it appropriate that a 110-year-old house is our town's next Habitat for Humanity project. We attended the groundbreaking at 172 Concord Street. Habitat for Humanity is back in town. This time, instead of building 2 new houses up on Chamberlain Street, they've taken on a renovation of an extremely old building that's been abandoned for 8 years on Concord Street. Today is the groundbreaking ceremony for all the folks involved. So Ted, this is a little different from the other 2 projects you did for us over on Chamberlain Street. They were new construction. This is renovation. Tell us a little bit about the differences.
Yeah, it's a lot dirtier to start off with. We had a lot of trash and stuff we had to move out of the house, and tomorrow actually we'll start the formal demolition and begin gutting it. But it's the renovation is really a whole different animal and construction than the new construction we did on Chamberlain Street. Whereas this, we have to basically strip the house down to the skeleton, and then we're rebuilding from there. So everybody's dirty all along the way.
And were there surprises like any kinds of hazardous waste, asbestos, anything like that?
Yeah, there were actually. The whole outside of the house had an asbestos siding on it that we just had abated. And 2 of the floors, one in the room behind us and the attic floor, both had asbestos. But everything else was clean, and surprisingly, there's no lead paint in the entire house, which was miraculous considering the house is over 120 years old. There are some structural things we need to address. One of them being that the main girder in the basement has about a 2.5-inch sag in it, so we're going to be jacking up the house. We really aren't changing much of the floor plan inside, but a lot of the old construction is just underrated to current code. So things like rebuilding the center staircase and that kind of thing, we got to bring them all up to date.
Have you guys done more of these renovations rather than new construction? Habitat, is that normally your course of action?
I think new construction is always preferable because it's cleaner and nicer to work in, but you know, affordable housing is a need, and if remodeling, you know, and renovating houses where we're going to go, then that's what we got to do.
Thanks for coming out for the one sunny day in April. We're thrilled to be here. Habitat for Humanity is so grateful to the Holliston Housing Trust and to the CPC, the Board of Selectmen in town, and the town administration for partnering with us on this third in a row house in Holliston. We're about to kick off our Women Build event, which is going to be 6 weeks of teams coming out every day. So the folks who are in town, I highly encourage you to watch as you drive by, as it will transform before your eyes.
How does Habitat for Humanity choose a project to work on?
Well, we receive the homes or the land in all different kinds of ways. Sometimes the towns we work with, such as in Holliston, the Holliston Housing Trust, for instance, has given us a donation towards this home and also allowed us to rehab the home for local families and veterans.
So when a home like this comes to you that was in as deplorable condition as this one was, does somebody go through it and decide whether it's worth your while to take it on?
Yes, in fact, we have a great construction crew, and the first thing that we would do is have our construction team look at the home to make sure that it's viable, that we would be able to build on the site, and then it goes through another review process in our staff and our board.
Habitat families are just like us. They're hardworking, they're proud of their homes, and they're invested in their families and their communities. We're excited to find the right family that'll be a fit for this 110-year-old home. You will see that family here if you drive by or come on site. They will put in sweat equity hours. They will be here, and I hope you have the chance to work side by side with them before they become your next Holliston neighbor.
Holliston's been a fantastic partner. This is not the first time we've built here, and we enjoy coming back. Holliston's Housing Trust has been instrumental in getting us here, as well as the regular volunteers in the area. It's great to be back here as well because we just opened our second Restore down the street in Ashland, so that's local to this site. So hopefully volunteers will see not only the opportunity to volunteer on site here and build, but as well donate or shop at our Restore. This is a great project for us because we're starting our Women Build event tomorrow, and we'll have teams, up to 30 teams of women and men will come and build, and it's designed to take a look at and highlight the need for single women to find adequate and affordable housing for their children.
How did the Housing Trust acquire this house?
The original owner did not pay their taxes, and over time it was taken by the town. And the Housing Trust approached the selectmen to get control and custody of the home so that we could renovate it as a potential affordable housing. This will be a gut rehab of this home, and the Holliston Housing Trust will contribute $110,000 toward the total project cost, and Habitat for Humanity will raise the balance of the funds to complete the renovation through their typical channels. All right.
Heartbeat of Holliston will be back with progress reports to keep you up to date. We look forward to a finished product and a brand new resident for Holliston. This is Paul Saulnier for Heartbeat of Holliston. Part of the Habitat project is Women Build, which is a way for women to support other women who are homeless or in unstable housing.
Our next guest is a member of the Holliston Women Build Team, Wonder Women. Welcome, Katie.
And I brought my Wonder Woman shield, which is apparently going to be on my car or somewhere. I don't know. Maybe I'm wearing it. I have no idea.
That's great. Tell me. All right. How did Wonder Women get started?
Andrea DeMayo Clancy, whose husband Brian is the president of the Housing Trust, or Housing Trust chair. They have been very active in Habitat Metro West for quite some time. And one of the activities that they sponsor is these Women Build Days, in which teams of women come in solidarity with other women who are homeless or in unstable or unsafe housing or unaffordable housing. And so Wonder Women is just one of the teams. There's actually another Holliston-based team led by Kay Baxter from the Housing Trust called Wenches with Wrenches.
Ooh, I like that too.
And so there's, people are having some fun with it. But it's a great opportunity to help Habitat in its purpose.
Is your Women Build part of the National Women Build, which there is an organization?
I assume so, honestly. I'm brand new, and I believe it's kind of a networked idea, but I'm only familiar with our team here, and this is my first time.
Oh.
So what do you think is going to happen on the site when you show up?
You know, anything could happen. From they could hand us power tools, paintbrushes, who knows.
Well, you know,
And really, no talent required. We're
No.
still looking for members. If anybody wants to join, we're happy to have more people.
Ted Oxholm, who's the construction manager, he's really great. He'll be a lot of help to you.
Oh, great.
Last year when they were doing one of the ones on Chamberlain Street, there was a whole day just for women.
Yeah.
And I don't know what organization it was, but they all had a great time.
That's awesome.
As well.
I'm looking forward to it, and you know, I've done some volunteer work like this down in Mississippi with a church group where you didn't have to know what you were doing. You just showed up and did whatever was needed, and that's what's going to happen. So
that's gonna be
if they took me, they'll take anybody.
Okay. So what is the team? There's a requirement, though, don't you?
There
have to
is.
raise-
The team as a whole has to raise $5,000. They ask usually for 10 people raising $500 each from small donations, and I found that was really easy to do. And so I would encourage anybody who is interested to not let the fundraising get in your way, because it's easy to do. It adds up fast.
So have you raised the $5,000 that you need?
The team, I'm not positive.
You've done your part.
I've
but
done
you-
mine. It looks to me like we're going to, I think we're going to get it pretty easily.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I have always wanted to learn more about power tools.
Well, you could be our next recruit.
I think this is just going to be and it's our third Habitat house, which is pretty cool.
Yes, that's
I like
right.
that,
That's
yeah.
right. And you know, we welcome Wonder Men as well. This event
great.
is geared toward women because of that solidarity factor, but not as an exclusionary thing.
Are you going to be there just one day, you think?
This is a women build that's just that day. They set a date well in advance, and then
Is there a date now
target it.
set?
Yes, it's coming up this Saturday, May 25th.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
So how can people help? I think you have a website.
Yes.
Yeah, and-
We have a website for our team on First Giving, and if you just look up Women Build 2019, you can look for Wonder Women Holliston. It's pretty easy to find. If you have any trouble, look for me on Facebook. I'll tell you.
Good. Okay.
Yeah. So the ways to support are join a team. Donate to someone who's on a team. Shop at the Restore shop in Ashland, which is a place to bring gently used things that can be resold, and the profits go to help Habitat. There's also a gala that supports Habitat Metro West, and that is Saturday, October 3rd. There's a live auction, silent auction. Really fun event. I'm not quite sure where the location is this year, but I understand it's been a big success.
Well, that's great. Well, thank you, Katie. And I think that Wonder Women will be building community among
Absolutely.
your friends and your families, and it's going to make Holliston even stronger with safe and affordable housing.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Heartbeat of Holliston will take a summer vacation, but we'll be back in September with more award-winning coverage of everything Holliston. You can watch us this show every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at 7 p.m. on Channel 8 on Comcast and on Channel 32 on Verizon. We are also televised at other times. You can watch us on any electronic device. Go to the HCAT website at www.hcattv.org for easy access.
Join all the others who are watching Heartbeat on Facebook and YouTube by checking HCAT's Facebook and YouTube pages. We also have an updated e-blast function which sends out announcements when new shows are scheduled to air. If you'd like to be on this list, just contact us by email at office@hcattv.org or call 508-429-8979. With an e-blast, you'll never miss a show you want to watch. Good night, Paul, and we'll see you in the fall.
Good night, Chris O.
And good night, Holliston.